Today, it's Fire and Ash Day on Movies Merica Live. Now, you may hate them and call James Cameron's Avatar movies Dances with Smurfs or Ferngully In Space, but you can't argue that they don't make planet-sized piles of cash. Cameron so far has always got the last laugh with these movies, all the way to the big old bank. The first two Avatar movies are the first and third highest grossing movies of all times, not accounting for inflation. Now, is it worth your time and money to see what's making all the money at the theater? We'll find out on this first of the year 2026 episode of Movies America Live.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies America.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies America Live, the very first episode of Movies America Live here in this brand new year of our Lord, 2026. And I want to welcome all my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics here, first of all, to this episode here. And then everybody else that maybe you're a new viewer, okay? You're a first-timer here, all right? You're maybe somebody just heard about this awesome new show. It's not really new, but it's new to you, but awesome show called Movies America, and you just check it out for the first time. And so to all my first timers here, hey, good to see you. All right, welcome to the show. Come on in. All right. The water is warm. Okay, right here. But this is an Avatar Fire and Ash episode of Movies America. And I, as always, am your humble host, Van Eberts. And I am going to provide a spoiler-free review. Okay, now I realize that this is a late review of Fire and Ash here, because I think it came out in theaters 3 weeks ago as of when I'm making this episode here. So I'm well aware, maybe some of you have already seen this movie here. Maybe a whole lot of you haven't, though. So so I know that just because there's a even slight chance that there's some people that haven't seen this movie, I don't want to spoil it. That'll be my Thursday show coming up here, where I'll have a spoilery discussion about this movie, but not today. Not today. Sunday is the spoiler-free review of this movie here, Avatar, Fire and Ash. There, okay. And as you guys probably know, unless you live on Mars or you sleep under a rock or something like that, Avatar, Fire and Ash, just like all the other Avatar movies, are directed by James Cameron, legendary director James Cameron here, who of course has brought us the Terminator and T2 and The Abyss, and you've got True Lies and Titanic and all the big movies there that Aliens, can't leave Aliens out there as well. And so he's got a proven track record. Okay, he is Hollywood gold, baby. But regardless of that, everybody just keeps doubting him about these Avatar movies. Okay, they're just like, James Cameron, what have you ever done in your Hollywood career? I mean, it's not like you've ever directed any hit movies or anything. So we're going to give you zero belief, zero confidence going into these Avatar movies. And he just laughs all the way to the bank. Like I said before, he's just thumbing through piles of cash. Well, maybe not so much nowadays, but everything's electronic now. I doubt that James Cameron has a room where he's got a Breaking Bad like pile of cash there. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he likes to maybe roll like Scrooge McDuck and have a big old vault full of gold coins or something like that. So hey, you know what? If that's his speed, God bless him. He's earned it. Okay, he's a very talented director, and a lot of people think he's a jerk. But hey, you know what? Sometimes the greats are considered jerks. by a lot of people there. But anyway, let's talk about Avatar Fire and Ash, not James Cameron's personality, okay? And so this, of course, is the third Avatar movie. And this one takes place, of course, after the events of Avatar, The Way of Water, that came out in 2022. And there's, been a personal tragedy in the lives of Jake Sully and Neytiri and the rest of the Sully family. And just in case someone hasn't seen Way of Water, I'm not going to spoil what the tragedy is, but they are, they're still hip deep in it. They're still hip deep in the battle between, the sky people, aka the humans, as we would call them, and Colonel Quaritch or whatever Quaritch, that's his name. I keep want to call him Quidditch. I don't know where James Cameron came up with the name Quaritch, but okay. But yeah, Colonel Quaritch and all the rest of his military goons, right? And they're trying to hunt down Jake Sully, because Jake Sully at this point in this movie, he's pretty much kind of like the Avatar world's version of Osama bin Laden. Okay, like everybody back on planet Earth is like, Jake Sully, he betrayed our planet. We got to get him, And so it's a big old hunt down for Jake Sully, Osama bin Laden style there. And then, so he's hiding, his family is hiding. He's got like some other Navi tribes that are, helping him out, especially after the big battle of the Way of Water, because now there's this newfound belief in Jake Sully, and he's got and I'm going to butcher the name, but he's like, what's it? He's got this title because he can ride the biggest. They got these big, if you watch the Avatar trailers, you got the big flying beasts. They look like kind of like pterodactyls or something like that. So he can ride what's called like Dark Shadow or something like that, and he's I was about to call him. His title is Prima Nocta, but that's totally something different. If you've seen Braveheart, you know what Prima Nocta is. That's not his title right there. But I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, there's so much weird new jargon and parlance, in the Avatar world that James Cameron made up, for this whole world, this whole Avatar environment there. But so they're trying to hide from the military, primarily Colonel Quaritch and then his military superiors, and they're trying to the sky people, the humans, are trying to expand their territory into Pandora, because it sounds like they're not looking for that mineral, that precious mineral that they were looking for in the first one called unobtainium. It sounds like where it's at now is they're looking for like this, the brain juice from these big whale-like creatures called the Tulkun. And so the humans are trying to expand throughout Pandora so they can hunt down more of these, Tulkun to get, this very valuable, brain juice out of these whale-like creatures called the Tulkun right there. But instead of listening to me talk about the plot and trying to, trying to cobble together, what understanding of the Avatar Fire and Ash plot that I can here, let's check out the trailer here instead.
This is the only pure thing in this world. The fire came from the mountain, burned our forest. My people cried for help. But Eva did not come.
This world goes much deeper than you imagine.
Protect your sisters. Yes, sir. Stay in the cover. What does Dad always say?
Sully stick together.
No, the other one.
Sully never quits.
That's right. Sully's never quit.
How do you still live?
What if every human being on Earth could live here without a mask? Then the Na'vi people will be gone.
Whoa.
You want to spread your fire across the world. You need me.
We must fight! I call upon the warrior mother. I'll kill you! I swear!
All right, everybody, there we go. And so, yeah, that is definitely the trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash. And so it does give you a kind of an idea as far as the great CGI, the great visual effects there, the prowess that that James Cameron and Lightstorm Entertainment and I think what Digital Domain I think is the name of his particular visual effects company there. And I think that's why his visual effects look better than your average Marvel and DC movie nowadays, because he's got his own dedicated visual effects crew there where they don't have to hurry and basically just kind of rush through creating these CGI, because Marvel and DC, they are nefarious for say, hey, all you CGI minions, all right, create us this cool effect and all these cool effect shots. And then the creators of the Marvel DC movies will scratch that. And they'll go, wait, no, we changed our mind. Go ahead and do this. All right. Dance, CGI monkeys, dance, create these visual effect shots. And oh, by the way, you have 5 minutes to get it done. And so that's one of the reasons why the CGI in Marvel and DC movies are looking more and more like straight up ass with every movie here. But not these Avatar movies, because they take their time. They especially between the first Avatar movie and Way of Water, that the Avatar, the first one came out in 2009, and A Way of Water, the second one, didn't come out till 2022. And then this Avatar, the third Avatar movie is coming out 3 years after The Way of Water. So they're taking their good time and making the CGI look good. So, and you saw a little taste of that with that trailer right there. But hey, I want to greet some fantastic friends of mine, some excellent buddies of mine that are joining me in the live chat there, particularly on the Rumble side. And that would be my man Beyond Formal and my man Sean Cav right there. And now Beyond Formal goes, "Hey yo!" And Sean Cav's like, "Hey movies, how you doing there, brother?" And so you can do that. You can join them. The live chat's not just for them, okay? For anybody that is watching Movies America right now here on YouTube or Rumble, you can get in the live chat there. It's just a very complicated measure of clicking the chat or live chat button, and it's in there somewhere. When you're watching the show, you just look for a button that says live chat or chat and get in there and get in there, start live chatting there with them or with me and or them and me right there. And I always say that one of the perks for you with the live chat is, as you would imagine, I have a little itinerary that I follow, as I'm doing this show, and I have kind of a schedule and that kind of thing. But if you want to knock me off that itinerary, if you want to throw me off, hey, more power to you. The live chat is your way of doing it. You get on there and throw some live chat messages on there where I'm like, so Avatar, what? What is that in a live chat? What are they talking about? Oh my God. No, I'm totally thrown off, So it's your chance to be all devious, all right, and cause some trouble via the live chat right there. I mean, what other chance? Where else are you going to get a chance to do that? To be a straight up troublemaker and disrupt this guy? Okay, there you go. But you can only do that if you get in the live chat, everybody there. And I hope you take I hope you take advantage of that right there. I mean, I know I would if I was in your shoes. Okay, so but anyway, well, let's talk more about Avatar: Fire and Ash, shall we? All right, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think the screenplays to these Avatar movies are laughably cartoonish and clinical. I mean, to go into more detail as far as what I mean by that is most of the characters in these movies are just so over the top cartoonish. Okay, now I'm not talking about Mickey Mouse, Roadrunner, Yosemite Sam kind of cartoonish. I'm not talking about that. Not quite that cartoonish. Okay, but they are cartoonish in the way like they're just kind of these over exaggerated characters that you would never run into these in real life, right? Okay. A good example, first good example is you have the mustache twirling Colonel Quaritch, played by the great Stephen Lang there. You've got the hoorah, let's get some, caricatures of, bloodthirsty soldiers. All right. And then you get the greedy, sleazy, heartless commander of the fleet that hunts down the Tulkun, those whale-like creatures, with his "let's throw another shrimp on the barbie," accent. He's the guy that he's so greedy. He's looking for that Tulkun, that big whale brain juice there. He's always quoting about, oh, it's like 50 million per pint or something like that, right? So that guy, or the Sully, let's go, bro, keep up, bro. Kids, that's how they talk all the time. Come on, bro, let's go, bro. All right, hey, gnarly, bro. And I'm guessing that's just how James Cameron think like teenagers talk, or whatever. So, which surprises me because he's got like 5 kids. You would think that he knows how teenagers talk right there, but I don't know. I guess he just thinks all teenagers just drink Code Red Mountain Dew and always use the word bro. Okay, and then Cameron purposely gives whatever nuance and depth there is to any characters to his good guys. Okay, his good guys in the movie, Jake Sully, played by Sam Worthington. I got Neytiri, played by Zoe Saldana, and then the other Navi characters there. Because don't you know, all evil people are cartoonishly brainless? Did you know that? Come on, you got to realize that, right? And the good news is the Avatar movies are ones where you just go in there, just snicker once at the goofy screenplay and story, and then realize you just have to dismiss all that and then just sit back and enjoy the visual and audible spectacle before your eyes for 3+ hours. Okay. So, I mean, just don't go in expecting some highly intellectual, groundbreaking screenplay and story. Just scratch all that. Just get all of that out of your mind and get that, and just watch the pretty Christmas lights on the screen. All right. And, again, don't go in looking to have your ears filled in with an Aaron Sorkin or Coen Brothers level script, anything like that. All right. Remember that. And then when Maximus asks you, are you not entertained? You can honestly reply back that you are indeed entertained right there. Okay, so it's all good. It's all good. It's just keep your screenplay and story expectations low. I'm talking about very low. Okay, because even with the absence of a good story and a screenplay, it does not ruin the movie. Okay, this movie, just because of just the visual spectacle and the sound design and all that, it's still worth your time to go to the theater and spend the money for that, because it's just it's a lot of wowie zowie for your eyes and ears there, enough to warrant looking down the movie or the money for that right there. But real quick here, let me just to remind you that, like with most live streams, YouTube shows, Rumble shows, there's a like button there available here. And so you just got to click on the like button that's down below if you are so inclined. If you would, it'd be great if you hit the like button. And then also, if you would hit the subscribe or follow button if you haven't already. And that's again down there as well. And then lastly, there's the notification bell button down there as well. And that just does exactly what it sounds like it does there. It just notifies you that there is, it'll just notify you once via a little measly little one email that there's a brand new piping hot fresh scintillating, delicious episode of Movies America coming hot out of the oven, especially just for you. Well, not just for you, but for others people, but for you as well. Okay. You'll get to enjoy the Movies America episode right there. Okay. And then this is directed towards my viewers here that didn't have a chance to watch live, but still, want to have a chance to communicate with me for better or worse. I don't know. Hopefully for better. If it's for worse, be gentle. Okay. I should take it back. I'm not a shrinking violet. If you want to, put some negative comments in the comments there, by all means. But that's where I'm going with my little diatribe here. I want to remind you that there is a comments section down below here, particularly for when the episode is over with. The live episode, that is. And yeah, all my viewers that are just watching the recording of this episode, yeah, we can still communicate back and forth with each other. We're just going to have to do it via the comment section, I should say. And you can let me know, hey, what do you think of the episode? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's somewhere kind of in the middle? Do you think it sucks? Hey, just let me have it. Okay. I am not afraid of brutal truth. Okay. Or if you want to let me know of a movie you want me to review, or, what's your favorite James Cameron movie? Ultimately, you can comment about whatever you want in the comment section. Okay. It's all up to you right there. Okay. So that is how that works. But enough about that. Let's get into some more Avatar Fire and Ash, shall we? Yes, we should definitely do that there. And because I've got plenty more to say about this movie. But real quick, I'm just going to get a little tug off my brewski here. And that's a good opportunity for me to remind you that I've got the brew review time coming up here later on, pretty soon, actually, in this episode here. But you guys can, whatever you guys are drinking on, hey, go ahead and then down it and, and enjoy it here during the show, because that's one thing that you can do during Movies America Live. Any of the Movies America shows here is just relax, man. Kick your legs up and relax here. But actually, to that end, it's time for drinky. Ooh, that's good stuff. Excellent stuff right there. So, and again, I'm going to be going more into that beer during brew review time right there. But just go ahead and do your shots, drink your Cosmos. Pop open your Diet Pepsi, whatever you're drinking there. So because I'm relaxing right now. I mean, I'm doing my favorite thing I like to do. I like to talk about movies. I find it very relaxing. Now, it may be nauseating to you if I were to come up to you and talk to you about movies in person, because you might be like, oh my God, Van, it's only a movie. You're like, pipe down, all right? Let's talk about something else. But no, not me. I love talking about movies. And so this opportunity to talk about this movie with you is what I consider relaxing right now. Okay, so, and all right, let's talk about some more Avatar, Fire and Ash. And so with the subtitle like Fire and Ash, I assumed that part of the difference we'd see between the first two movies and this one would be a ton of like fire effects, right? And most of all, like a sweet new volcano set piece where the Ash people live. And what I mean by the Ash people is, in this new movie, there's a whole new group of Na'vi that we meet. They're just called the Ash people, right? And they have their own backstory here, but I will say this because you do get this idea from the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. But the trailer clearly points out that these Ash people, or these Ash Na'vi, they're no good. They are no good. Okay, they are. They're not friendly. All right, they're not your friendly neighborhood Na'vi. Okay, well, let me back up on that, because even like in the first Avatar, you quickly learn that when you're human, when you're the sky people, and when you're on Avatar, and you just go out wandering amongst the wilderness and Pandora, if you run into some Na'vi, because they don't know who you are and they're very protective of their planet and their land, all that stuff, if you're a human being wandering around, you're probably going to get killed by the Na'vi, because they don't know if you're going to be destructive or anything like that. So, or big. So that was not cool. Not very classy. I'm beer burping over here. But anyway, so So, but these ash people, they're extra hostile. Okay, they kind of remind me of like the Joker in The Dark Knight, right? In The Dark Knight, where especially where Alfred says some people just want to watch the world burn. Well, these ash people, they literally want to watch the Pandora world burn here, and they're led by like I can't remember what their leader's name is, but their leader is played via motion capture by Oona Chaplin. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because if you ever watched Game of Thrones, she played the girl that Robb Stark ended up marrying instead of marrying who he was supposed to marry in Game of Thrones. And but that's Oona Chaplin. Oona Chaplin played that character. I forget what her character's name was in Game of Thrones. I think she was also in. I might be mistaken her. I want to say she was maybe in the HBO series The Penguin. I think I'm thinking of somebody else with that. So don't quote me on that. I'm just gonna zip it about that point. But so yeah, again, the Ash people, they live, I guess, or their backstory involves a volcano, right? They're on Pandora. Jeez, can't even talk today. And so I wanted to see, because of that, some impressive CGI lava, as well as like some caverns and living spaces and massive chambers within a volcano. And I thought that would be a visual feast with the Oscar-winning visual effects team that works on these movies. Okay, I mean, we're talking about the same visual effects team that won the visual effects Oscar for both the very first for both the first Avatar movies, Avatar movie 1 and 2, I should say, right there. And now this movie would have set itself apart from the first two if Cameron had provided, that new visual effects motif surrounding a volcano and lava and, and big chambers within it and that kind of thing. But he doesn't go that route. Okay. And it ticks me off, it pisses me off that he didn't go with that right there. And you don't get the cool volcano spectacle or, massive fiery effects. So as a result, the movie just looks a lot like The Way of Water, especially when you consider the fact that they filmed The Way of Water and Fire and Ash at the same time. Now, one of the primary reasons that James Cameron did that is because he didn't want to run into the Stranger Things effect, and I'll explain what that is. So basically, what we're talking about is the kid actors that play the kids in this movie. He didn't want to film The Way of Water, and then the kids are supposed to be the exact same age in Fire and Ash that they were in The Way of Water, but they all, they're all like 3 foot taller, right? and the boys all went through puberty and they all sound like this now, and instead of sounding like this. And so they didn't want to run into the Stranger Things effect right there. So they wanted the kids to have the continuity in age there. So that's at least one of the reasons they filmed it all at the same time. But Sam Worthington, who plays, of course, Jake Sully, even said that he thought The Way of Water and Fire and Ash, he thinks of them as the same movie, but just chopped in half to create the second and third Avatar movies. Now, make no mistake, there are some jaw-dropping visuals, particularly during the final battle, okay, that the first two movies didn't have. And I will say, the final battle is cool as hell. Very cool. There's a lot of similarities, with it to the Way of Water final battle, but it's still cool. I mean, there's enough different stuff in the final battle in Fire and Ash to still make it very, very cool, especially when you're watching it on a big screen right in front of you, particularly like if you're watching it on an IMAX screen like I did there. So, but it's just that, like Dr. Evil, though, I wanted to see some liquid hot magma. Okay, I wasn't expecting sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads, but I did want to see some magma, some lava here, and big old, a big ass volcano in this movie. And it really would have helped. Again, like I said, to differentiate this movie from The Way of Water, and then also from the first Avatar movie way back in 2009. But so I think that's why a lot of critics are saying that this movie, there's just not enough different stuff in it to make it visually distinct from the first two movies there. But hey, if you would have just had a lot of cool ass volcano and lava and magma effects in this, it would have stood out. Okay, it would have been like, oh, okay, so like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, right? So Star Wars is kind of like the lighter, well lit, jazzier, kind of more aloof, Star Wars movie out of the two between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. And then Empire Strikes Back has that very distinct, separate look to it from Star Wars, because Empire Strikes Back has more of a darkness to it, just not just visually but thematically and plot wise to it. So it stands on its own from Star Wars, right here, and so that's why everyone says, "Oh, Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, they look very distinctively different from each other." But The Way of Water and Fire and Ash here with these Avatar movies, yeah, they don't look distinctively enough different from each other right there. And I think that James Cameron, he dropped soap on that. No, let's try a different phrase right there. So he slipped on a banana peel on that point right there, because he could have had two very distinctive looking movies there, which would have been a good thing. That is for sure there. But all right, let's do this here. I want to check out the live chat. Make sure we got some good live chat activity here. And if you're in a live chat, man, let me know. Hey, what's your favorite James Cameron movie? Are you a True Lies fan? Are you a big Aliens fan? T2? Maybe you're one of those guys. You're kind of off the beaten path, and you're a big The Abyss fan. Or let me know what your favorite James Cameron movie is there. So mine always changes. It's always kind of goes in between like T2 and True Lies. They're usually T2 and True Lies. It's just kind of flips back and forth between those two. And I'm also a very big The Abyss fan. James Cameron's Abyss movie did not get a fair shake at the theaters there. Unfortunately, The Abyss decided to come out at the same time as this little movie back in 1989 called Tim Burton's Batman. Okay, so there's no way it was going to compete against Batman there. So, but yeah, let me know there in the live chat on YouTube or Rumble what your favorite James Cameron movie is right there. All right, so but right now here, I think we're getting that point because I'm feeling a little bit of thirst building up here in my old throat there because this is hard work, just sitting on my butt, just talking about movies, and it's just such a hard effort having to go through to educate everybody and give everyone a heads up on whether this movie is a movie to watch or not. So, because I'm so thirsty, let's do a little brew review time. All right, let me introduce you to the brewski for today. The first brewski I'm going to be doing a brew review on in this year 2026. And let's do that. I'll just try to get you right up there. There we go. And that is the Odell Brewing Company IPA, or India Pale Ale. And that comes to us from Fort Collins, Colorado. And this is, an American-style IPA. It's got good, huge hop notes there because it is an IPA. Okay, it's got a lot of hops in it. And that is characteristic of IPAs, particularly double IPAs there. And in addition to just having a lot of hops in it, it's got like a nice sweet peach flavor to it. It's got a very citrusy flavor to it, but not too overpowering to where it's going to make you gag or anything like that. And part of that citrus flavor comes from some ruby red grapefruit right there. Now, you would have to have a very advanced palate in order to kind of differentiate between the different citruses in this beer. I just taste citrus, okay, but my palate isn't so refined that I could drink it like, oh yeah, that's grapefruit. Oh, that's orange. Oh yeah, that's lime. Like I don't have that kind of refined palate whatsoever. Okay, and it's like a special blend of 9 different hops there, and it's combined with like some pale and Vienna malts there, and then of course it's brewed because it comes from Fort Collins, Colorado, with fresh Rocky Mountain water there. Yep. Rumor has it you got a whole lot of snow up in those Rocky Mountains there, and you know that fresh Rocky Mountain snow creates some fresh Rocky Mountain water there. Okay, so there you go. John Denver, God bless his soul, if he was still alive, this is a beer he could get behind right there. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe this is the beer he was drinking when he was flying on an airplane, and that's why what happened. I don't know. Who knows? There you go. You heard it here first on Movies America. Okay. But again, it's got a prominent grapefruit and citrus presence to this beer right there. And it's got kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different things in there. Now, I'm not going to say and lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you that I can taste all these things, but it's got a lot of things like pine, resin, mango, and peach. Now, I can taste the peach in this. Okay. Now, it's very slight, but I can taste the peach in here. And, and what I'm trying to do here with Brew Review Time is also let you know the kind of foods that this particular brew would pair well with, or it was whatever brew that I'm reviewing on the Brew Review Time. I'm trying to get into the habit of letting you know what foods that the brew pairs well with. And this particular brew right here, this brew will pair very well with like tacos or fajitas, like very, very greasy burgers. You got any kind of cuisine that incorporates Thai in it, like, Indian or a Thai food, that has curry in it. Good old fried chicken, sausage, French fries, buffalo chicken pizza or buffalo style wings, stuff like that. Any of those things that I just mentioned there will pair well with this IPA right here, the imaginatively titled IPA. That's just what this Odell Brewing Company just calls it. Just straight to the point. Hey, it's our IPA. There you go. All right, no more frills, no nothing like that. But you may be asking yourself, "Hey, Van, you know what? That's all nice and all. You've been flapping your gums for the last 5 minutes about this beer. Do you recommend it?" And I do. I do recommend this beer right there, and I would recommend drinking it with any of those foods that I said that pairs well with. And I am a fan. And just to prove to you that I'm a fan of this beer, I'm going to take a tug off this beer right here. So here we go. Excellent. So I'm drinking that way too fast because that beer is getting a little more empty at a faster rate than I would like right there. But that's just because that beer is pretty good. I'm going to set it right on down right there and save it for later on. But yeah, you could probably get your hands on some of this brew here if you go to some place like the Open Bar app, which is obviously an app you can get on your phone. You can go to like gopuff.com, Puff as in like Puff the Magic Dragon. You can also go to like Uber Eats. That's probably only going to work like in Colorado because Uber Eats will deliver booze to you, just like it'll deliver groceries and food and all that stuff to you there as well. But if you live in St. Petersburg, Florida, and there's not a grocery store that has this this Odell Brewing Company IPA on it, Uber Eats isn't going to drive to Fort Collins, Colorado for you and get you that brew and then bring it back to St. Petersburg, Florida. Not going to happen. Okay, not going to happen right there. Unless you pay them the right price, maybe they would. I don't know. But anyway, I'm so far away from Avatar Fire and Ash right now. I know I get it. Anybody that's watching the show going, "Hey, I thought this show was about Avatar Fire and Ash. What the hell?" I'm just talking about Uber Eats over here. But anyway, but I'm just mentioning that because I don't want to hog all the the good beer, the good brew, from you. I don't want to hog it off to myself right there. But anyway, so yes, again, in the end, I would recommend this Odell Brewing Company IPA right there. Okay, and with that, let's wrap up this brew review time. Okay, let me do something here real quick. I'm gonna do you a favor here, and you are going to be so happy that I did you this favor right here. But I'm kind of calling an audible right here because I completely forgot about showing you this. Okay, there we go. Let's do that. Get out of there. Get out. Get. All right, there we go. I'm running into some technical snafus over here, but hey, it wouldn't be an episode without running into some snafus there, right? Yeah, there you go. All right, let's do that real quick. And what do we got here? There we go. Share that up here. All right, see if you guys are seeing that. Probably not. All right. So I'm sorry. We're using I'm using a. Oh, there we go. That'll do it. Let's try that. Aha! There we go. So yeah, using Rumble Studio here, the software that I'm using to present you this episode for the first time in a while. So I'm on a learning curve here today. There, so I've used it before, but it's been a while. So I'm like trying to figure out all the buttons to press and all that stuff right there. But I think I'm learning the buttons just fine as I use my nerdy voice for some reason. But anyway, back to business, the business I need to attend to. And that business is letting you guys know about Movies Merica merch. And so that's why I'm showing you the Movies Merica merch store right here. And yeah, you can get your hands on some sweet Movies Merica merch here. And we've got all kinds. We got the hats here. We got shirts. We got drinkware. We got all kinds of, we got stuff that, for the home here as well. So there's the hats and the shirts. We got hoodies, got windbreakers there. Even got a friggin' sports bra going on up in here. And then we got like the Black Adam style shirts here. That's kind of my personal favorite Movies Merica logo there. We got pint glasses, for your Odell Brewing Company IPA there. Koozies, all kinds of great stuff there that you can get and sport around your place there and wear out in public. And I will say this, okay, I've worn like a Movies Merica hat out in the world. I've worn a Movies Merica t-shirt, and I have gotten, and I haven't worn them out all that much, and I've gotten a couple of like, hey, what is Movies Merica? I've gotten a couple of those, a couple of people coming up to me and asking me that there. So it is a good conversation starter because, hey, never know. Hey, maybe you might meet her, out in the street, something like that. And, she comes up to you and, hi, big boy, what's Movies Merica? And it's a great conversation starter for you. And, hey, maybe things work out with you and her, and you'll have Movies Merica right here. Good old Van here to thank for that beautiful new relationship. Brought to you by Movies Merica merch. There you go. So then you won't ever be able to say, I didn't do anything for you. Okay, there you go. But anyway, so with this Movies Merica merch, making it very easy for you to get to this website here, because all you have to do is down in the description down below for this episode here, you just got to look for the Movies Merica merch store link, again, down in the description for this episode. Just click on that and you can shop to your heart's content right there. But yeah, get yourself some Movies Merica merch at the merch store right there. And just do it for yourself. There you go. All right. And again, I just didn't want to hog all the Movies Merica merch for myself right there. That wouldn't be cool. I don't want to be that stingy guy. I don't want to be that dude. Hell no. All right, let's do this here real quick. And I'm just going to attend to some business real quick. Okay, let's do this. And let's move here. Let's do that. All right, there we go. And so this is what we call multitasking. And you know what? I'm not saying I'm the best multitasker, but hey, you know what? I try to do what I can. But bear with me just a moment here, and then we're gonna get into some more Avatar: Fire and Ash. There we go. You guys can hear like how terribly I type over here. All right, here we go. Just doing some copying and pasting. That's how we roll here at Movies Merica Incorporated. All right, there we go. Get this going on. See here. I know this is fascinating for you guys. Fascinating. But like I said, hey, if you're in the live chat, man, let me know what your favorite James Cameron movie is. Okay. And, you know, and it's, you know, if you think that's a hard question, the questions just get harder as we go along. Okay. That's a pretty easy question. What is your favorite James Cameron movie? There you go. Very simple. Very easy. All right. Oops. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Let's do that. Come on down. Come on down. Let's do it. All right. So let's see here what's on the next here on the docket there as we get into this over here. Let me see this here. And all right, there we go. Okay, so just got to arrange some stuff right there because we are going to get this done right. Yes. There we go. Because I don't want to half-ass this show right here. But and don't worry if you're watching right now, yeah, you know, live, of course, and you're like, what the hell is he doing over here? Very quickly there as I go through. And all right, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. There we go. Okay, there we go. I was trying to prepare some stuff here, but anyway, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right. And so I just got some random thoughts about Avatar, Fire and Ash as you're like, God, thank God he's finally getting back to the damn movie. And so my very first random thought about Avatar, Fire and Ash is I don't know if they can do it, but they really need to just put more emphasis on using the James Horner music from the first Avatar movie. Let me say that again one more time because I think I butchered his last name. Is James Horner music. There we go. Let's do that. James Horner music from the first Avatar movie. Let's do this real quick. I think I just jacked something up. There we go. Come on. All right, there we go. I was clicking buttons I shouldn't click on. But so yeah, back to James Horner. So James Horner is a guy, he did the soundtrack to the very first Avatar movie back in 2009. And unfortunately, sadly, tragically, James Horner is no longer with us because he died in a plane crash. And so it wasn't like a jumbo jet airliner or anything like that. No, he was a pilot. He was piloting a plane by himself out in California. And he was flying along and he decided to go into a dive. And the dive was a little too deep there, a little too steep and deep. And unfortunately, he ended up crashing his plane and perishing. And very sad, very tragic right there. But before he died, he created some of the most iconic movie soundtracks that you know of. Okay, I mean, just some of the most iconic movies are the movies he did the soundtrack to. I mean, have you ever heard of a little movie called Braveheart? All right, Braveheart, right there. Titanic. All right, we've got. We did the soundtrack to Commando, 48 Hours. God, I think he did. Just look up James Horner soundtracks there, and you go like, oh my God, damn that plane, damn that plane. We lost a legend here. I mean, just made just so many great movies. He did the soundtrack to Apollo 13. Apollo 13. He did the soundtrack to, I think he did the soundtrack to A Beautiful Mind. So like a number of Ron Howard movies, okay, there. So James Horner was a legend, okay. Just made beautiful, beautiful, beautiful music there. Also did what a lot of people consider the best Star Trek movie soundtrack out of all the Star Trek movies. He did the music for Star Trek Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II Wrath of Khan there. But James Horner's soundtrack is by far the best soundtrack of any of the three Avatar movies. And it's his music that when you hear it, you think, oh yeah, Avatar. I've been meaning to watch Avatar again, and this music has just inspired me to do that. Oh, that's the James Horner music. Okay, I mean, whoever they have doing the music for The Way of Water and Fire and Ash, sorry, not sorry, but it sounds like you're just phoning it in. Okay, you're just like I don't know. It doesn't quite sound like stock YouTube music, but it's just not. I'm not expecting you to equal like James Horner's music. I mean, good luck, getting up to James Horner's level, but at least try to get up close. And the composers to The Way of Water and Fire and Ash just aren't getting it done. All right, they're just not getting it done, people. So I would be like, let's just try to use as much as James Horner's score from the first movie as possible, if that is possible. Okay. Now, another random thought about Avatar: Fire and Ash is the box office is working out for Fire and Ash. Okay, although not as well as the first two movies so far. Now, Fire and Ash crossed 1 billion in about 18 days. Now, let me explain something to you first before I start going too far down this road. A movie reaching 1 billion in this era we're in of movies here, particularly in 2025 and 2026, is a hell of a feat, okay? Because I don't know if you've gotten, if you've been reading the latest headlines or been paying attention to current events, but movies or at least I should say, going to the movie theater is persona non grata, okay? It's not the beloved thing that it was 25, 30 years ago, okay? There's a lot of kind of like hate for going to the movie theater right now, okay? People just they're like, nope, I don't want to go to theater anymore. I think one of the things here, well, I don't think I know, one of the things that are keeping people from the movie theater is the exaggeration of how many instances there are of, I go into a theater, I'm trying to watch this movie, and there's these guys on their cell phones over here. Or I go to this movie and there's people talking and yelling and screaming during the movie. And so you hear like stories like that over and over again because, they're fun to tell and it's entertaining and it's interesting and all that stuff. But, I'm a movie critic, okay? And so as part of that, as you would imagine, I go to a lot of movies. I go to the theater a lot more than, Joe Blow, than John Q. Public, a lot more than most people do. I'm at the movie theater at least once a week, right? There. And in the whole history of me going to movie theaters, and I've gone to movie theaters in all kinds of different areas of the country, okay? I have had the problem of someone talking during the movie maybe once. Not maybe. I've had it once, okay? Someone being on their cell phone during the movie. I'm not talking about during the trailers or the ads that play before the movie, okay? I'm talking about during the movie. I've had it happen to me twice. So twice out of what? Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trips to the theater, okay? So, but a lot of people tell that same story, and then people start thinking like, oh my God, well, every time I go to the movie, I'm going to run into somebody like talking to them during the movie or on their cell phone, during the movie, it's so there's a lot of that. Also on top of that, I will give people a break. Movies are not the cheapest thing to go to, okay? Especially if you're bringing your kids to the movies, okay? And have you ever tried to go take a kid to a movie and and see them not want some candy and some popcorn, which is the really expensive part of going to the theater? Like, no, they always want it. Right? They want the candy, they want the popcorn, they want the soda, the pop, the Coke, whatever you call it in your region of the country. They want all that. So I get that. It's expensive, right? I get that. And especially now, there really is a campaign to kill movie theaters right now. And that campaign is led by streaming services, particularly Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all these streaming services would love nothing more than to see movie theaters go the way of the T-Rex. Okay. And so they are purposely studios and streaming services, they're working hand in hand to try to drive you away from the movie theater and basically just sitting on your ass on your couch, okay, and not getting as near as good as a visual and audio experience, okay, there. But they're like, they know most people are like, well, if it comes down between me watching the movie for $20 for my whole family, or $15 per person at the theater, well, that's not even a choice financially right there. So I'm going to give that to people there. But I think people are capable of for 3 or 4 big movies a year. Like, I think people are capable financially of saving up enough money to where they can take themselves and 2 or 3 other people to the theater to watch like the big movies, right? That kind of thing. The movies that primarily come out in the summertime, right? Not always, but in the summertime. So I think that, but anyway, so that there's a big old campaign to get people to not go see movies at the theater right there, sadly, there. But so I say all that to demonstrate that Avatar, Fire and Ash making $1 billion when more and more people every day are staying away from going to the theaters. That's impressive. So a movie making $1 billion like in 1995 is no big deal, because people were still going to the movies there at the theater. Okay, there. And so, but nowadays in 2025 and 2026, it's much harder to make $1 billion. And so Fire and Ash, they made their $1 billion in the box office in about 18 days. Now that's slower than The Way of Water getting to 1 billion. They got to 1 billion in 14 days. And then the original Avatar got to 1 billion in 17 days. So, but still pretty damn good. All right. Still nothing to shake your head at there. Avatar, Fire and Ash, it did hit that $1 billion mark right there, as I'm trying to stifle a beer burp here. Okay. So in the end, it's looking like we will see that Avatar 4 movie after all. Okay. And you know what? And the only reason that there was some doubt with that is because James Cameron had been waiting to see how Avatar 3 would do. And so I'd imagine, since his third Avatar movie made $1 billion, I think that's going to be enough of a reason for him to finish up Avatar 4 so that it can be released, because they have shot some of Avatar 4 already. They shot some of it at the same time they shot Way of Water and Fire and Ash that way and all that stuff. So, but if he's going to release it, he's probably got to do some finishing touches to it and all that stuff, So maybe got to do kind of a like Bob Ross kind of style, like, all right, we got to clean up the clouds right here and put some pretty red on the barn over here, that kind of thing. So, anyway, all that to say is, Fire and Ash had made it to 1 billion. Okay, there. So I mean, there's a lot of Avatar haters out there, and I'm sure they were hoping that it would not make $1 billion, or they were betting against it. And, well, they lost. It made $1 billion right there. So, and my third and final random thought about Avatar, Fire and Ash is, I have to admit, I was surprised when a guy handed me some 3D glasses when I walked into the theater right there to go see this movie right there, because most movies I go see, they're not in 3D. Okay. 3D, it had its day. There's a time right after the very first Avatar movie back in 2009 that every movie, okay, was coming out with a 3D version of it because of how successful Avatar was. Again, to this day, Avatar, the very first Avatar movie, is still the highest grossing movie of all time when you don't adjust for inflation. When you do adjust for inflation, it's like Gone with the Wind is like the most successful movie of all time right there. But I was surprised, to get, a little package, get some 3D glasses right there, because you don't see that many 3D offerings anymore. But Cameron, James Cameron is big on 3D, and I gotta say, he does it well. I mean, the 3D did look good, but I'm not one though that is so impressed with it that I consider 3D the best way to see a movie. I mean, I like these Avatar movies just as much in 2D. I don't need to see them in 3D there. But, if you can see it in 3D, hey, by all means, it doesn't hurt the movie to see it that way. So there you go. All right. So those were just my random thoughts about Avatar, Fire, and Ash right there. And I just want to also just take a minute here to remind you that this is not the only Movies America show that I do each week. I also do a show on Thursday nights, and that show is called Movies America Spoiler Warning. And as you may be able to guess from the title of the show, that's where I do a more spoilery. Is that a word? Well, it is now. That's a spoilery show about whatever movie I'm reviewing this week. Obviously, this week it's Avatar, Fire, and Ash. So this Thursday's show here, again, titled Movies America, Spoiler Warning, will be me discussing Avatar, Fire, and Ash in more detail, in more depth, where I will not worry if I drop a spoiler or 2 or 3 or 400 during the show there, because the title of the show, even that warns you that there's spoilers in the show. So check that out. That comes on this Thursday night and every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific time. So check that out, and you'll be able to. The easiest way to check out that show is like if you go to my at Movies America X profile, and you can get the links to watch the show there, or go to my Facebook profile, or just in Rumble or YouTube, just search Movies America and then the name of the movie, and there you go, nice and easy. There you go. All right, let's double check some information here. I think we're good to go, and I think we're up to one of the favorite segments of every Movies America episode that I do here on Sunday, and that is the segment where I let you know is the movie that I'm reviewing this week, is it a woke after school special? Well, in this case, is Avatar a woke after school special? And I would say it is, because of the fact that the Avatar movies are still essentially just Cameron shoving his save the rainforest green agenda down our throats, all packaged up in blinkety pretty lights presentation. Everyone's screaming about green this and green that, are creating a divide amongst the Earth's population between those that have actually dug deep into research about energy on this planet and those who just screech whatever bumper sticker slogans that Greta Thunberg, Al Gore, and Leo DiCaprio tell them to screech about right here. And I mentioned the word divide because that's part of how I define woke. Okay, woke is something where it's something that is purposely introduced into something like pop culture, movies, comic books, TV shows, whatever, that is specifically meant to divide people en route to a destruction of our country, of the U.S., of America, right there. And so, and in this case, it's kind of more of a planetary divide here because, when people talk about, green this and green that, they're talking about the planet, right? And so that's, so with this, it's causing a divide, again, like I said, between those who actually have done their own research and dug into what would be necessary, to reach that net zero, number that the climate nutters are always talking about, and those who all they do is like just repeat the talking points, from the climate nutters right here. But you don't have to believe me and my little commentary about it right now. Don't. Matter of fact, I insist. Don't believe me. Read up on what the climate nutters expect countries and the people within those countries to do, to suffer through and die, to get to that net zero number. We're talking about carbon emissions, right? Trying to get the net zero carbon emissions. If you read up on that, as far as like what they expect humans to do to get to net zero, it's freaking horrifying, man. I mean, I hope you like the Dark Ages. Okay, I hope you like eating bugs and not having as near as having like a fraction of the electricity they have nowadays, and having a little piddly amount of the conveniences that you enjoy in modern society now. I hope you're okay with that, because that's what it's going to take, and that's even if that works, because not every country is going to do that. I mean, we could have America and Americans, and we're living like the Flintstones in the Dark Ages, or living in the prehistoric ages, the Flintstones, not using energy and that kind of thing. And then China the whole time is they're living in the modern times, and they're compromising the whole effort. So we're living like Fred Flintstone, and they're living, in the modern age, anyway, like we live today and enjoying life, and it's going to be all for nothing. But anyway, I went on too long about all that crap. Point is, yes, the Avatar movies, they are a woke after school special, but in this, I will give them an exception. They are it's still hidden enough into the storyline that it's not like in your face woke. Okay. So you could still watch these movies and still have a good time and still enjoy them and completely ignore, James Cameron's climate nutter crap. Okay. Right there. So there you go. So it's not a prohibitive type of woke in this movie whatsoever there. So, all right. So let's do this here real quick here. And this is the part where I'm just going to remind you that, hey, if you appreciate anything that I'm doing here in the show, like, warning you away from a terrible movie or steering you towards a good movie, okay? Or if you appreciate me doing like the woke after school special where I warn you about seeing a movie because it's got too much woke in it. If you're appreciating anything like that, anything that I do enough to maybe throw a buck or two my way, well, I'm about to tell you like how you can do that. Okay, very simple, very easy. And the way you do it in Rumble is if you're in the live chat there, all you have to do is down towards the bottom of the live chat window, there's a button with a $sign on it. And you just got to click on that, and another window will pop up. It'll just ask you how much money you want to throw to this guy right here. And that's it. Very simple. Now, on YouTube, it works very similarly. Okay, it's uncanny how similar it is. But in YouTube or on YouTube, it all goes down in the live chat window. So in the live chat window on YouTube, just go down towards by where you type in your live chat message. And you just have to click on the button that has a dollar bill on it. And then that'll just pop up another window. It'll just ask you how much you want to donate. And that's it. Very simple, very easy. There you go. So, but that's only if you're compelled to throw a buck or two my way. Okay. I insist I should have to earn it. Okay. But if you do donate a buck or two or 10 or 20, that there you go. All right. But enough begging for money from me here. And I see, yes, my Kimosabi in the live chat, the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, saying right here, and he's just popping in here to say hello in the live chat. So, hello. There you go. Appreciate you stopping by and checking out this Movies Merica episode right here. And giving yourself I'm sure a well-deserved break from cleaning up the bathroom right there. Exactly. Yeah, it's like I want to break away from cleaning up and a toilet to going and watching Movies Merica live right there. So there you go. I love it. I love it. All right, so we're getting ready to wrap up this episode of this Movies Merica live episode right there. And my final thoughts on Avatar Fire and Ashes. Yes, like I just said, it's got some woke in it, but it's just the woke is so subtle in it. It's just buried so deep in the movie that it's not so in your face where you can't enjoy the movie right there. There's so many cool visual effects and explosions and guns and spaceships and boats and just like wowie zowie eye popping, CGI in this movie where it completely cancels that out, and it's well worth your money to go check out Avatar Fire and Ash at the movie theater right there. But if you do go see it at the movie right there, go make sure you go to like a PLF, or that's a premium large format theater. And some examples of premium large format movie theaters are like IMAX or Dolby Audio theaters or 4DX. Well, good luck finding a 4DX theater anywhere near you. They are very few and far between here in this country, so they're usually like only in big cities there. But yeah, go see it at the movie theater. I mean, I don't care how impressed you are with your TV and your sound system at home. Okay, it's still not near as good as watching it at a good theater. Notice I said good theater. Right? If the only theater you have in town is some ghetto theater, well, then I would probably just stay at home there. But if you got one of those premium large format theaters in your area, I would definitely go see it at the theater right there. It's well worth it. At least these Avatar movies are. Okay? These Avatar movies are event movies. They are event movies enough to warrant going and seeing it at the theater right there. Just make sure you just don't drink a big gulp right before you see the movie right there, because this particular movie is 3 hours and 17 minutes long. Okay, so yes, so just just don't drink a cooler full of Diet Dew before you go and watch this movie. Okay, don't do it. All right, or hey, wear some Depends. There you go, and then hey, let it flow. There you go, love it. All right. So, hey, just want to take a minute here to ask you if you would follow me on the platforms that I'm on. I'm on all sorts of platforms under @MoviesMerica or just Movies America. And I'm on like X and Facebook and Instagram and Rumble, Gab. Okay. And you might see multiple Movies America accounts on those platforms. Go ahead and subscribe or follow to them all if you would. That would be fantastic. And it doesn't cost you a dime whatsoever. So there you go. All right there. And hey, I just want to also take a minute here to let you guys know, hey, if you guys would, check out some other shows that we have on the Till Death Podcast Network that we have here on Rumble. On the I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, got some weird stuff going on with my phone here. But yeah, check out Sean Cav on Rumble, and then also look for the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast or the Till Death Podcast. I mean, those are two separate shows there on Rumble there as well. And hey, we got the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, and they know what they're doing. They're in my live chat, and I mentioned them because they gave me a $5 Rumble rant. They basically just say they donated $5 to this guy right here. So that deserves a good old chug on my brewski here. There you go. Excellent. Excellent day. All right. And all right. So there we go. But yeah, follow me on those episodes or on those platforms. That would be fantastic. And check out those shows right there. Okay. But we are wrapping up this show here today, this Avatar Fire and Ash show here today. But before I wrap up any episode, as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica. That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @MoviesMerica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the Popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'd be doing me a big favor. Put me in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.